So I've gotten a lot of questions asking me how the PlayStation 5 works on the LG Nanocell 85 series from 2020. And I'm here to answer some of those. After spending a few days with the console and the TV, let's finally find out how this works. So first things first, yes, you can change it to game mode here, but as you'll see in a minute, in my opinion, it doesn't look as good. It looks a lot more muted than the regular just standard HDR mode, so I tend to keep it on there. However, either way should be fine. They both work perfectly fine. It's just this way looks more vibrant and more HDR, if that makes sense. More vibrant HDR at least. And then another question I got asked, yes, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox both come with HDMI 2.1 cables, which is right there. You can tell because it's way thicker than even the PS4 HDMI cable, which is right here. Let me get it out real quick. This guy, yeah. And so, yes, you could plug it into HDMI 3 or 4 on this Nanocell 85 series, and then you'll get the HDMI 2.1 output. And if you don't have this TV, you'll be able to tell you could get the 120 4K output by going to settings and then going to screen and video and then going to video output information. And what you're going to want to look at is frequencies and non-HDR and HDR, which are right here, and then it will show what your TV is supported up to. In this case, it's 120 hertz, and right now, no TV, even if yours is 8K, won't be able to do 8K, at least on the PS5. Sony's going to roll that out in a later update coming up soon, hopefully, and hopefully they bring out an update to do 1440p. Because I know a lot of people want to do that, but unfortunately, as of right now, you cannot. So yeah, those are just some of the things that we could do here. Oh, and also the Xbox comes with HDMI 2.1 port as well, if anybody was curious about that. So yeah, pretty much it. I guess I could talk about the PlayStation a little bit. So the PlayStation itself, yes, it is big. If you couldn't tell, it's almost half the size of the TV here. But, oh yeah, I would always recommend leaving it on the stand. It doesn't really need it on vertical, but I would recommend it just for better airflow and better stability of the console. Because last thing you want is to break it. And then pay another $500, especially since they're all sold out now. So yeah. Yeah, no, it's very quiet, which is good. Especially compared to the PS4. That thing got really noisy. At least the OG PS4 did. I know the Pro and Slim also got noisy, but they were a little bit better. And the load times are pretty great, as you could tell. Almost non-existent, especially in Miles Morales here. So I do enjoy that. Um, and then switching off between. So right now I'm in fidelity mode, and I could switch between fidelity and performance, which performance is 60 FPS without the ray tracing, and fidelity is with ray tracing. So I will show that. As you can tell, it is a lot smoother. This game, you don't really need the 60 FPS mode in my opinion, but it's definitely a nice feature to have. I hope more games have the option between fidelity and performance in the future, because it is definitely a nice thing to have, because it's similar to what PCs have. And yeah, I know some people just want 4K, 60 ray tracing and all that, but like most PCs don't even have that, except like the recent 3080s and 3090s could do that, but these consoles are not up to par with that, which makes sense because they're only $500 after all. So I'm not complaining. At least we have the option at the end of the day, because the PS4 and Xbox One didn't have these options. The Pro and One X had these options, but they weren't as noticeable because, well, especially with the PS4 couldn't even do true 4K. The Pro, it could only do upscaled 4K. So now I will show off the fidelity mode, and then I'll talk about the One issue kind of that I've noticed, but it's not a huge deal and it's not even a defect. So this is fidelity mode. It's still pretty smooth because it stays at a pretty stable 30 most of the time. But the difference is the ray tracing. See right there, the shadows? Heck yeah. The shadows, the reflections, they look good. They look good. So I'm going to turn it back on performance and show you guys something. Because most people have experienced this, but I'm here to tell you it's not a problem. Unless it's very noisy. Then yeah, return it. But okay, so I'm on performance mode. We're going to come over here. Sometimes with the PS5 you will hear slight buzzing noises. Right now you don't, thankfully. But yesterday as I was playing, you hear some slight buzzing noises. And that's called coil whine. Now, most electronics have it. Even older video game consoles had it. If it's a low buzzing noise, you're not even going to be able to hear it over the game audio, to be completely honest. The only way I noticed it was that I completely muted. And then here you can hear that slight buzzing. That's most likely coil whine. Now, is it a problem? Is it a defect? Not at all. Because again, most electronics have it. Even PCs have it a lot. And most PC manufacturers do not do returns for coil whine because it doesn't hinder performance or hurt the system in any way. It's just a subtle buzz, and basically it's the components inside vibrating. One of them is vibrating faster, and you're going to hear it more on the PS5 because Sony turned down the fans to make it less loud, and because they have a huge heatsink and liquid metal cooling, the fans could go down and be less noisy, because that was a main complaint on the PS4. So you will hear it more on here, but it was also possible on the PS4 Pro. It was just less noticeable, as again, the fans were much, much louder on the PS4 Pro. So yeah, I just want to give a heads up on that because I know some people would be concerned. I mean, I was concerned, but then I looked into it more and it's just like, oh yeah, it's not a big deal. Unless it's extremely loud. Some people did return it who were extremely loud, but it will be the loudest on performance mode. That's why I turned it on performance mode here. And yeah, so yeah, it's not loud at all on mine, which is good news. Yeah, because I don't want to return it after just getting it. So yeah, so just keep that in mind. Most likely your PS5 will have coil whine, but it's not a defect and it's not a huge issue. Again, unless it's super duper loud, then I honestly wouldn't worry about it at all. So yeah, the controller is great as well. I love the adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback, especially in Astro's Playroom. I might show that off in another video coming up here. So yeah, what other things? Oh, I would say if you could, to leave the PS5 standing up, it's not a big deal if it's horizontal, but it does have better airflow vertical. And the stand is more sturdy vertical because you have to use a screwdriver to screw it in. While horizontal just kind of clicks in. It still works. It's not a big problem, but just keep that in mind. So yeah. And no, there aren't any spoilers here. I'm just web slinging around New York. Just showing off the PS5 the best I can. So, yeah. Well, I think that's going to be it for me. I hope I answered all your questions. If you guys have any more, please definitely feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them either in a new video or in the comments itself below. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and have a great day. Take care.